Now we will learn few topics or the scenarios in this particular training. What are the first topic? Now, if I want to read the Excel file data using SQL connection when there are more than two worksheets. Now, if you observe in all our previous Excel automation, then what we have done, we have read the data from the particular Excel worksheet only by using read from Excel worksheet. But right now, we are going to read the data from the Excel as a database by using SQL queries as part of the OLEDB provider. How can we go ahead and do that? Now, as a first step, I'm going to set the variable for the Excel file path. So I'm going for the action and then I'm going to use set variable. Let me drag and drop this action onto the workspace to set the Excel path. As a best practice, for the paths related, we will specify in the variable. All right, let me drag and drop this action onto the workspace. And then I'm going to give the variable name as Excel underscore file path. And then the path, what is the path that I have to give? I'm going to mentioning the path of the Excel which is located. Now this Excel file is available in my D location, training, and after that you can find employee list. Let me copy this path by using shift and there you can see I'm having copy as path. Let me select that. And then I'm going to provide the value over here as d colon training slash employee list dot excel sx file. This is the path I have mentioned for the excel underscore file underscore path. Let me click on save. Now I'm going to take one more variable that is for the connection string. Let me drag and drop again this set variable action onto the workspace. Now I'm going to give the name of the variable as OLEDB underscore connection string. Now in the value, I'm going to give the details of the connection string such as provider equal to microsoft.as.oledb.tool.o and the data source. I don't give directly this D training employee list. In this scenario, what I will do, I will give the set variable path that is Excel path. I will take it from the variables. I'm going to select Excel underscore file underscore path and the extended properties I have given it as 12.4 that is Excel 12.4 XML, header equal to yes, and persist security info equal to false. And then I'm going to click on save. Now, as a first scenario, I need to read the data from the Excel file by using SQL connection or OLEDB connection, right? So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use database actions to open the connectivity, right? I'm going to use open SQL connection. Let me drag and drop this action onto the workspace. And there, what it will do, the Open SQL connection opens a connection to the database. Now, in our case, the database is Excel. So we are having the connectivity for the OLDB connection is in such a way with the variable OLEDB underscore connection string. Now, if you observe over here, now I'm having a builder over here. If you see over here, this is the icon of the build connection string. If you want to build any connection string, there by using this build connection, you can go ahead and you can build it. Now, if you click on that, there you will get data link properties. There you can see all the OLEDB providers are available. Now, if you observe, we are having the OLEDB provider such a way like Microsoft.as.oledb.12.0. That is Microsoft Office 12.0 Access Database Engine OLEDB provider. This is where we are going to use this one to connect to retrieve the data by using SQL queries. Now, if you don't have this Microsoft Office 12.0 Access Database Engine, in that case, you have to install Microsoft Access Database Engine with particular bit. If you have already installed Microsoft Office 64-bit, then Microsoft Access Database Engine also you have to install with 64-bit, right? Until unless if you have not installed Microsoft Access Database Engine, you won't get the provider over here. All right. Now I have already installed this OLEDB provider. Now I have already installed Microsoft Access Database Engine so that I'm going to get this provider for the OLEDB provider. All right. Now I'm going to select Microsoft Office 12.0 Access Database Engine for OLEDB provider and then I'm going to click on next. And then if you see over here, enter the data source or the location of the data. Now we have seen already, right? So where is the path that we have? That is d colon training employee list dot xlsx file. Now I'm going to give that same path over here under the data source. Now enter information to log on to the server. Now for the particular data source, if you are having username and password, in that case, if you provide username and you're going to provide the password over here. But right now for my employee list.xlsx file, I don't have any username or password to open into that. So that I'm going to delete this admin and then I'm going to provide blank password, right? Now there are the advanced properties. Let's click on advanced. Over here, I'm going to give the properties in a such a way. For the access permissions, I'm going to give read and write. Along with that, I'm going to remove the share deny none. Okay, I'm going to give read and write access permission for the particular Excel. And now, if you observe in my OLEDB connection string, I'm having extended properties. Yes, where we'll find all these things. In all properties, there you can find data source equal to d colon training slash employee list. Under that, you can find extended properties. There we'll give the extended properties. Let's double click on that to edit the values. And there inside that extended properties, we are going to give the property value over here. What is the property value? I'm going to give Excel 12.0 in the XML format, semicolon, and HDR equal to S. So S means we are having the column, we are having the first row as the columns in my Excel. All right, let's click on OK. And along with that, there you can see I want to provide persist security info, right? If it is true, in our Windows, it will store the password. If it is false, then it won't store the passwords over here. Now, by default, I'm going to provide it persist security info as false, and then I'm going to click on OK. Now, if you see the connection string, I'm having provider equal to microsoft.as.oledb.12.0, data source equal to d colon training employee list dot xlsx, and the mode is read and write, and extended properties Excel 12.0 XML HDR equal to yes, and persist security info equal to false. So this is same as what we have given in our OLEDB connection string. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace this entire connection string with my variable, that is OLEDB connection string. And then the output of the open SQL connection, I'm going to store inside the variable, that is SQL connection. And then I'm going to click on save. Now I want to retrieve the data from the Excel sheet. That is, I'm having employee list over here, right? Now what I want to get both the data in such a way. Employee underscore personal details. Along with that, I need to join the table, that is worksheet 2, that is employee underscore salary underscore details. How can I go ahead and get these two worksheet as a single output? Now I'm going to use execute SQL statement. Let me drag and drop this action onto the workspace. Now, if you see the parameters to execute the SQL statement, what it will do, it will connect to the database. In our case, the database is Excel, and execute an SQL statement. Now, if you see the parameters, get connection by, there are two parameters. One is SQL connection string or connection. One is connection string or another one is SQL connection variables. I'm going to select SQL connection variable, and the SQL connection, if you see, it's already taken it, the SQL connection which we have used for the OpenSQL. Now I will write the SQL statement over here to retrieve the data from the two worksheets. So I'm going to use select star from. So the first one is the table. So what is the table? In our case, we are having employee underscore person underscore details is the sheet which we have. We have to mention the same sheet over here, right? That is emp underscore personal underscore details. Okay, now I will show you first only for the single worksheet. So whenever you are going to mention the worksheet, there you have to give the dollar symbol at the end. All right, and then I'm going to click on save. Now, As a best practice, once we have opened the SQL connection and after executing the SQL statement, we need to close the SQL connection. Let me drag and drop this close SQL connection action onto the workspace after executing the SQL statement. As a parameter for the close SQL connection, we are going to give SQL connection which has been opened. We are having SQL connection as a parameter, as a variable. I'm going to select the same variable SQL connection and then I'm going to click on save. Now, let me repeat again this entire flow. Now I am set a variable for the Excel path, that is Excel underscore file underscore path is the variable name, where the path having the value in a such a way d:\training / employee list dot xlsx. And also we have given another variable, that is the name of the variable name is OLEDB underscore connection string, where it is having the connection string for the OLEDB, that is for the Excel, to use as a database. To work with Excel as a database, we need to use Opal SQL connection. Inside that, we are having the SQL queries to retrieve the data from the Excel. So we are going to use Open SQL connection. So for the Open SQL connection, we are using the variable, that is OLEDB connection string, as a parameter. And then the output will be stored inside my SQL connection. To retrieve the data from the Excel as a database, I'm going to use SQL queries to retrieve the data. To execute the SQL queries, we are going to use execute SQL statement. That is, select star from employee personal details. That is the worksheet name I have given it up. For that, as additionally, we have given dollar symbol for the worksheet. And then the output will be stored in the query results. Once the SQL statement has executed successfully, as a best practice, we are going to close the SQL connection. Now, our flow is ready for the Excel as a database with SQL queries to retrieve the data from the worksheet 1, that is employee underscore personal underscore details worksheet. Let's run the flow to see the output by clicking on run. Flow execution started. Now, if you observe over here, it's already set the variable for the path as well as OLEDB connection. And then it is trying to open the SQL connection for the OLEDB connection string. And then inside my Excel, I'm having thousands of records so that it is trying to retrieve the data in the particular worksheet, that is EMP underscore personal underscore details, by using execute SQL statement. And then it will close the SQL connection by using close SQL connection. Now, if you observe on my right hand side, I'm having the output in such a way, the Excel path having the path for the Excel, that is d training / employee list dot xlsx, another one OLEDB connection string, another one, if you see over here, query result. Let me click on that to show you the output. Now, if you observe in my first worksheet, I'm having employee ID, name, and gender. In my output also, in the query result, there you can see employee ID, name, and gender. And the first column and the first row, we are having headers so that it has been taken it as the columns over there. That is HDR equal to yes. And there, if you observe, I'm having 1,000 records over here, including the headers, so that we are having the same over here in a such a way in the query result. There you can see I'm having the employee ID 2000 over here, right? Let me keep it side by side. There you can see the output as well as the Excel list in the worksheet 1, that is employee underscore personal details. There you can see the 2000 employee ID is Olivero Marzillo, that is the gender is male. All right, and we have retrieved all the data by using execute SQL statement by using Excel as a database. But what is the difference over here while read data from the Excel worksheet action and after that is execute SQL statement? Now, read from Excel worksheet action will retrieve the data from the particular active worksheet, right? And also it is a little bit slow comparatively with the execute SQL statement. It will be slow. And then if you want to retrieve the data from the multiple worksheets, it is not possible with the read from Excel worksheet. But whereas by using execute SQL statement, it is possible to join two worksheets and then we can retrieve the data. Let me show you that one over here. How can we retrieve the data from the two worksheets over here? In our Excel, we are already having employee underscore personal underscore details. This is the one worksheet. Another one employee underscore salary underscore details is another Excel worksheet. Right? Now I want to retrieve the data from the multiple worksheets over here by using execute SQL statement. Let me double click on the execute SQL statement. Now, if you observe under the SQL statement parameter, we have given select star from employee underscore personal underscore details dollar. This is the SQL queries, right? And after that, I'm going to give the naming convention over here as EPD. So this is the alias name that I'm going to give it for the employee underscore personal underscore details. And I'm going to join inner join. And what is the second worksheet that we have? That is employee underscore salary underscore details. I'm going to give the name over here, but before that, so this is also worksheet, so that I'm going to give the dollar symbol at the end of the worksheet. And then I'm going to give the alias name as ESD. That is nothing but employees underscore salary underscore details. And I'm going to join on condition. What is the common, we are having in these two worksheets? That is employee ID. So I'm going to give EPD dot employee underscore ID equal to ESD dot employee underscore ID. So I'm going to join these two tables on the inner joining with the column name that is employee ID, and I'm going to retrieve star is nothing but I'm going to retrieve all the columns, so that what is the output that we'll get it employee in the first row. In the first worksheet we are having, in the first worksheet that I'm having the column names that is employee underscore ID, name, gender. Along with that in our output, we will get employee ID underscore state underscore state code. Another one joining data and annual underscore salary columns. We'll get it whenever we have used this query, that is select star from employee underscore personal details inner join with employee underscore salary details ESD on employee ID dot employee ID the column name and ESD dot employee ID. Let me click on save and let's run the flow to see the output from the both the worksheets. I need our main agenda right now is that we need to get the data from our two worksheets at the same time, which is not possible from the read from Excel data action. Flow execution started. Now it is trying to open the SQL connection by using open SQL connection action, and then it is trying to retrieve the data from two worksheets, that is one from the employee underscore personal underscore details. Along with that we are having another worksheet that is employee underscore salary underscore details by using execute SQL action. And finally, it will close the SQL connection by using close SQL connection action after getting the required output from the execute SQL statement. Now, if you observe in our flow variables, we are having query result as an output. Let's double click on that to see the output. Now, if you observe the output over here, that I got the employee ID as EPD.employee ID. Nothing but this column will come from employee underscore personal underscore details. That's the reason you got it as EPD.employee ID and the name and the gender from the first worksheet. And the second worksheet I am having ESD, that is employee underscore salary underscore details dot employee ID, and the state code, joining data and annual salary. You may ask why only two columns, that is EPD.employee ID, another one ESD.employee ID, having the alias names over here at the starting of the column name. The reason is that it has to differentiate. This data has came from the employee underscore personal underscore details. This column, that is ESD employee ID, came from the employee underscore salary underscore details. That's the reason it has been given the alias name at the starting of the column automatically from the execute SQL statement in our query result. And after that, if you keep the output and the Excel sheet side by side, there you can see I'm having EMP underscore personal details where I'm having employee ID, name underscore gender. Whereas employee salary details, I'm having employee ID, state code, joining date, and annual underscore salary. All the columns have been retrieved, and after that we have displayed as an output in our query result by using Excel as a database by using OLEDB providers. All right, let's click on close.